Shovelware, the great era of the Wii, PS3, and Xbox 360. The peak of shovelware content from dozens of terrible developers and a billion chicken shooting adventures. But here we are years later, and most of those studios and publishers have died off. However, there is one last bastion of the great shovelware era, and that is Gamemill Entertainment. Now, you may know them from some of their certified bangers, such as Skull Island: Rise of Kong, The Walking Dead: Destinies, the terrible Zombieland game, and of course, Trolls, Rescue Remix, or Remix Rescue, or Trolls, man. For the better part of a decade, but mostly in the 2020s, Gamemill has been pumping out utter trash. They are the new peak of getting an IP and producing the lowest tier slop that can be made. A mill of producing games, if you will. One of the fun things about Gamemill is they don't really have a lot of online presence when it comes to searching up their history. But from what little I can find, I've gathered this. Gamemill got their start back in 2001, and they're actually an American publishing company, so score one for the good old US of A. They are best known for their 2003 hit game Big Rigs Over the Road Racing. It is one of the worst reviewed Metacritic games of all time. This incredible game from 2003 scores a whopping 8 on Metacritic. So you can really tell from the very start Gamemill was coming out of the gate swinging. Gamemill then went on to publish the Nickelodeon Kart Racer and Nickelodeon Fighting games. However, what I'm really interested in is their weird, one-off, IP-based titles that just shouldn't exist. Back in the days of the PS3 era, there was really only one name for this type of garbage. And that name was Thuck. Better known as THQ. Now, THQ produced some garbage here and there. I'm not going to pretend like they were a peak developer. However, they weren't on the level of shovelware that Gamemill is, so I hate to compare them. But I will. And the main reason is because of their ability to gather IP. What THQ did a lot of was get the IP for a TV show or a movie and produce a licensed game that generally came out along the same timeline as the movie or, say, a new season of a TV show. Now, they did this for several years until being defunct in 2013, and then later in 2014 merging with Nordic and becoming THQ Nordic as we see today. But one thing that I can say about THQ that's positive is that if you're similar to my age, it is more than likely that there's at least one THQ published game that you hold near and dear, because they did produce some high-quality children's experiences and some high-quality non-kids games as well. Now, the name does still live on in 2024 through THQ Nordic, the merger that later came in 2014. I am no master by any means in all of this, but I know that that happened and that they do still exist. However, they are not making quite so many licensed kids games like they once did. So, they were left with someone to need to pick up their mantle in 2013, and that someone was Gamemill. Now, a common question I see when Googling Gamemill is how do they keep getting these IPs? I can only assume Gamemill is managing to get these IPs by being the cheapest possible option to pump something out. And as we'll see in this video, they pump out some cheap trash. So today, we are going to go over some of the games that I've personally paid money for from Gamemill Entertainment. We've got a few. Starting today, we have Zombieland Double Tap Road Trip. This game came out in 2019 right alongside the movie, and it is terrible. There's no sugarcoating it. This is one of the most boring top-down shooters I've played ever. If you recall, if you watch my channel, you'll remember that I was doing the Alphabet Platinum Challenge, which I am still doing, and this is indeed Z. However, I switched up on Y from ukulele to yet another zombie defense survival something or other. That game is a very similar game to this. You play in sort of an isometric top-down view, and you shoot zombies with a little line that kind of sticks off your gun so you know where you're looking. This is exactly what this game is, and yet it's even worse. That game was free in PS Plus and was like about $3 if you didn't have it in PS Plus. This game released for full price. Well, $50 or something like that. Either way, I think I paid $10 and that was still a ripoff. And it was sealed. This game is everything you will come to expect from a Gamemill game. Terrible controls, lame as hell cutscenes, awful clunky gameplay, and really uncomfortably weird and off-putting renders of actors.
Manly, heroic, all those things.
This game follows an incredibly basic storyline that I assume is the same to the movie. They go across the country, and you play single missions that take about 15 minutes each. You either play as a single or up to 4 players. You shoot zombies, you unlock skills. It's a nothing game. There's a trophy in this game for beating it in 5 hours and 45 minutes or something along those lines. And, I'm about an hour in, and I have 2 missions left. This game is awful. So what did they produce just a little later? Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. Alright, they published one good thing. It's fine. It's got 60s, 65, 70. Okay, so Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl isn't all that bad. Maybe I'll play it at some point. But let's talk about the next game. Trolls. This game is horrifically unfun, and is the only thing ever that made me slightly miss ukulele. Don't get me wrong, I hate ukulele. But this was worse. It did have one redeeming factor. I was able to beat it in about 5 hours, and I'm done it. Did I do the plat? Not yet. Will I? Probably. Do I want to? No. This game is awful. It is an incredibly terrible platformer, with awful controls, terrible mechanics, barely functional. I couldn't even mute the sound. I had to do an update just so that I could patch it, so that I could fucking fix the sound glitch. This game is awful. Awful, awful fucking garbage. I cannot stand Trolls Remix Rescue. The music is monotonous and awful. I had to mute it. It is incredibly terrible gameplay. Constantly missing jumps. The mechanics that are supposed to function don't function, and it knocks off better games at every turn. It knocks off better platformers, and it knocks off fucking Rock Band, and makes it worse. Not to mention, the green looks yellow! Oh, and they had to throw in a DDR knockoff in there for you, too. Trolls Remix Rescue makes me incredibly depressed for the children of today. How are they supposed to grow up seeing their favorite terrible movie characters in one of the worst platformers of all time? If you're a parent out there, and your kid asks for a Trolls game, smack them upside the head and buy them SpongeBob instead. It genuinely makes me sad to see how depressingly low DreamWorks has gotten in handing out their IP to any old garbage shovelware maker. Granted, they did kind of do that with the Shrek 2 game, but at least Shrek 2 is a good movie. So what else did I buy from Gamemill? Skull Island, Rise of Kong. This looks like a mobile game. This game is barely functional, incredibly unfun, and I don't know if there's Skull Island fans out there, but the IP is dog shit. Nobody wanted a Kong game. Who wants to play Skull Island? Who gives a shit about fucking King Kong? And last, and certainly least, The Walking Dead Destinies. This is the only one in the Gamemill saga I have platinumed. And oh boy, was it bad. It is one of the least fun experiences I've ever had while gaming. While I disliked ukulele, I hated The Walking Dead Destinies. The only thing that made it redeemable was the fact that I could do it in a relatively short time. It has an interesting concept of a what-if style story based on The Walking Dead, however there are just so many aspects that make it borderline unplayable. Not only is every single character incredibly off-putting because they're just close enough to the real actor, but just far enough away to feel like you're in the uncanny valley, but every single cutscene are images only. They don't play out any sort of animation. It's done incredibly cheaply. The mechanics of it are terrible. The controls feel awful. Every single little aspect is dog shit. Whoever they hired for the voice actors Must have been off of Fiverr, because I certainly hope they didn't pay more than that. They were awful. They repeated lines so often, I cannot get "my blood is boiling" out of my damn head because of this fucking game. If you are a fan of The Walking Dead, do yourself a favor and never buy this game. GameMill is one of the lowest tier publishers I have ever had the misfortune of playing games by. They will slap their name on the lowest quality pile of garbage in existence. The audacity of their website to claim that they are best in class at anything other than shovelware is incredibly insulting to all game developers everywhere. It is very clear by the About section of their site that their sole goal is to convince someone with IP that's worth some money that they can produce a dogshit game based upon it. If there was an award for making the worst tier of shovelware and pumping it out at speeds only Activision could rival, then I'm certain that GameMill would be getting a sense of pride and accomplishment when they were awarded it. If you are a fan of any IP and you see GameMill Publishing on the front of it, run as far away as you possibly can. I guarantee you that will be the worst quality shit tier game you have ever played. Look, I'm a big fan of Star Wars, but if I saw a new Star Wars game coming out with Gamemill Entertainment on the front, I'd run in the complete opposite direction as fast as I can. They make every other developer look incredible, every other publisher look amazing next to them. They are the lowest tier trash. I would rather watch episode 9 on repeat for the rest of my life than play a GameMill published Star Wars game. Avoid them at all costs. Do not give them money. I'm a fucking idiot for buying these. I hate myself. I mean, for different reasons, but I hate myself especially for that. Do not play any of their games. Avoid it at all costs. They are the lowest tier shovelware. If you want to see one of their games played, come to me. I'll probably platinum it, and it'll be awful. What have I done with myself? What am I doing? Why am I playing GameMill games? If you're in a store and you see a GameMill game on the shelf, step on it and say it was an accident. Break that game. Snap that disc in half. Do everyone else a favor. For the record, Vsauce does not condone destruction of property. Unless it's GameMill games. Then I do. Arson is in order. That's it. I will have put an intro by now. I don't know, man. It's been a time. I know the hair is different or whatever. I'll probably put this in at the end or something. I wanted a cut that I could fit under a helmet without much problem, and turns out they kind of turned me into Ella, so I just kind of leaned into it and threw on the gray cap, and here, I'll just toss some green hair dye on, and there we go. I can throw some Gersmont mines at you. I don't know if anybody even gets that. I posted Siege clips a long time ago, because I used to, well, a long time ago, last year. Anyway, yeah, video's over. If you're still watching at this point, cool, thanks. Love you. But I guess I'll throw a little update in here for any of the gamers who really watch right to the end, even past the outro. But I started a second channel. Not because I think anybody will watch it, mostly because I just want to put out random shit that doesn't revolve around video games. Because believe it or not, occasionally I touch grass. And so I wanted to produce a few things that are non-video game related, but I don't want to tank any momentum that this channel even slightly has. I don't have much, but hey, I have a little tiny bit, so I didn't want to tank that, so I put it out on my second channel. I'll put it in the link. If you want to come see what I do other than video games, go watch it. Right now I'm working on a bike. I bought a motorcycle. I am currently fixing it up. I'm very close to being done. I've only put out one video. I'm going to produce some other ones. And I'll probably do, like, rides on there and stuff. So I'll get a helmet-mounted camera and show off my bike rides. Yeah, so, like, if you want to see what I do other than video games, please go check it out. Thank you. I appreciate it. Other than that, I'm going to go do anything other than GameMill games. Because holy hell, it is the worst publisher. I can't. But yes, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.